in the media conference with Lal Goel, which is brought to you by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV, News Gaon Se, Samvad Sarokar News, Organ Donation India Foundation and Gyan. Our endeavor is to enlighten you with the current topic. And today our topic is very current, very relevant, and that is role of youth in vaccination. But before I will go to the topic, I would like to inform you that today India is celebrating Indian Coast Guard Day. The Indian Coast Guard ICG is celebrating its foundation day on 1st February. The ICG is an armed force of India that protects maritime interest and enforces maritime laws. The Indian Coast Guard was formally established on 18th August 1978 by the Coast Guard Act 1978 as an independent armed force of the Parliament of India. With just 7 surface platforms in 1978, the ICG has grown into the 4th largest Coast Guard with 156 ships and 62 aircrafts in its inventory. The ICG has targeted force levels of 200 surface platforms and 80 aircrafts by 2025. Since its inception in 1977, the ICG has saved over 10,000 lives and apprehended around 14,000 miscreants. Media conference with Lal Goel. Wish you all on this auspicious day. Now, role of youth in vaccination. A COVID-19 vaccine is a vaccine intended to provide acquired immunity against COVID-19. The world is in the midst of a COVID-19 pandemic. As WHO and partners work together on the response tracking the pandemic, advising on critical interventions, distributing vital medical supplies to those in need, they are racing to develop and deploy safe and effective vaccines. Vaccines save millions of lives each year. Vaccines work by training and preparing the body's natural defenses, the immune system, to recognize and fight off the viruses and bacteria they target. If the body is exposed to those diseases causing germs later, the body is immediately ready to destroy them, preventing illness. It is more than a year since the coronavirus first emerged, yet the vast majority of people are still vulnerable to the virus. The restrictions on our lives are only thing holding the virus in check as they reduce opportunities for the virus to spread. Vaccines teach our bodies to fight the infection and are the exit strategy from the pandemic. The worldwide endeavor to create a safe and effective COVID-19 vaccine is bearing fruit. A handful of vaccines now have been authorized around the globe. Many more remain in development. The biggest vaccination campaign in history is underway. More than 98.3 million doses in 62 countries have been administered as on 31st January. The latest rate was roughly 4.20 million doses a day. India has significantly ramped up daily vaccination against COVID-19 with over 5.7 lakhs beneficiaries vaccinated successively on Thursday and Friday, while more than 10,000 sessions were conducted on both the days. So far, 37 lakhs 6,157 beneficiaries have been inoculated through 68,830 sessions in just about a fortnight, making India the fastest country to reach not only the 1 million target, but also 2 million and 3 million marks in COVID-19 vaccination. India launched its vaccination drive against COVID-19 on January 16th and aims to first inoculate 3 crore health and frontline workers. While so far only healthcare workers were being inoculated, now frontline workers will also start getting the doses from first week of February. India which is running the world's biggest COVID-19 vaccination drive, is the fastest in vaccinating its citizens, said our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi. Yesterday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi in his Mann Ki Baat said, I quote, just as India's war against coronavirus became an example to the world, similarly, our vaccination program is also becoming an example to the world. India is conducting the biggest vaccination drive in the world. Do you know what is an even better matter of pride? We are not only running the world's biggest vaccination drive, but we are also the fastest in vaccinating our citizens, unquote. And to discuss this very, very important, relevant topic, we have youths as well as our chief guest. And our chief guest of today's program is Dr. Raman Goel. Dr. Raman Goel is the president of Indian Association of Gastrointestinal Endosurgeons, IAGES, which have more than 8,000 surgeons as members. Dr. Goel has been conferred recently the honorary FRCS by Royal College of Surgeons, Edinburgh. Dr. Goel is also the associate editor of Journal of Minimal Access Surgery. Dr. Goel is a renowned bariatric surgeon based at Mumbai. He has published many research articles and book chapters. He has also helped formulate national guidelines for surgical practice during COVID times. Welcome, Dr. Raman Goel, on our show. Dr. Goel, you are in the front line of this coronavirus pandemic. You also got yourself vaccinated very early. Now, we would like to know the role of youth in vaccination. Dr. Raman Goel, please.
Good morning. Glad to see that so many young people have joined this program. And this is a positive sign because this vaccination program can only survive if we have a social awareness in the society. And the reason why I believe today we have this program is that if in last 2 to 3 months, as it became clear that vaccine will be available, there has been certain hesitancy and apprehension in the media. So I think it's right time that we put everything at rest and we discuss these issues threadbare. As you have mentioned, I got my first shot on 20th January, which is almost about 12 days back, and without any problem. Now, let's see the larger picture. You have mentioned few facts, but let's see that why vaccines are so important. People do not even realize that the vaccines are probably the most important health tool that science has given to humanity. There are over 20 types of vaccines which are used for various illnesses, and some of them are given to us when we are a small kid, so we don't realize its significance. And these vaccines save between 3 to 4 million deaths per year worldwide, which is a substantial number. And not only deaths, they also prevent disability. So some of the young people who are here might have seen a person, an adult who had a paralysis because of polio. But this will become history. What we have seen when we were small, that our batchmates, our classmates would come limping to the school because they had polio at an early age. That became history. Then smallpox vaccine came and smallpox got eradicated from the world. And that was such a major issue because if somebody used to get smallpox, it would be a disaster, and this would generally happen in children. So first and the foremost, each one must realize that vaccine is for our good. There is nothing wrong about getting vaccinated. This is the way to go. And some of the countries, I go to Oman to do surgeries, have probably the most robust vaccination program in the world, where they vaccinate their citizenship, the entire citizenry for every possible through every possible vaccine. And the reason is simple. If you can prevent a disease, then why treatment is required? It reduces cost of treatment, it improves employability of people, and it reduces financial drain on the families and the government. So vaccination is essential, it's must, and we must accept it right at the beginning. Then comes what is the role of vaccination in COVID? So there has been a lot of discussion. I'm sure all of you who are listening to this program have heard about herd immunity at various stages. Unfortunately, most of those statements came from people who had very little knowledge about science behind herd immunity. Herd immunity is a kind of protection that we provide to those who cannot get a vaccine. So if there is somebody who is 90-year-old and too frail to get a vaccine, if rest of the society takes a vaccine, probably those people will not be needed to take a vaccine because they are at a higher risk of if they get vaccinated. So herd immunity should only be thought in terms of vaccination. And when you take a vaccination or I take a vaccination, I protect myself. But when adequate number of people get a vaccination, they protect rest of those. So let's say if 80% of the population gets vaccinated, rest 20% do not need to get vaccinated. So we are protecting those people who are at a high risk of vaccine related complications because of their age or because of their health condition. Somebody who has a cancer, somebody who is receiving chemotherapy for cancer, or somebody who is very immunocompromised because of HIV, you and the person cannot take vaccine, those persons can be protected. So I think vaccination is your responsibility to your own health, to your family's health, to the society at large, and to other people who can be your parent, who can be your family member or a friend who cannot get vaccinated. So I think herd immunity is on the anvil if all of us understand the science behind COVID vaccination, which we'll go discuss in next 5 to 10 minutes. So these are the first few points that I wanted to emphasize. Now, vaccination did not come in just because COVID vaccination did not come in just because some companies wanted to make more money. Please get this out of your mind. The COVID response, the government's response and companies' response came because the G20 nations, the biggest nations in the world, met in March 2020 and gave a call to the health community and to the companies that you all put your act together and to save the world from COVID. And April 2020, uh, the WHO, the European Commission, France, the Melinda and the Bill Gates Foundation, they all came together to form what is called the ACT Accelerator. Now, ACT stands for Access to COVID Tools. So this was a organization created which was not a which doesn't replace WHO, which would bring in all the parties together, which includes WHO, governments, companies, to provide a unified response to COVID pandemic. And this ACT accelerator had 4 components. So why I'm telling you this? Because unless you see the larger picture, you don't realize the significance and the gravity of vaccination campaign that everybody is talking about. So the 4 component of ACT accelerator were diagnostics, treatment, vaccination, and to act as a health connector to bring all these things together and to do this. And this led to rapid research. And the research, as I will discuss a little later, gave us the vaccine now. Now, When this ACT accelerator worked with governments and WHO, they formed what is called COVAX. COVAX was a response specifically for vaccination across the world, because there are rich countries, there are middle income countries and lower income countries. And what one need to realize is that nobody is safe till everybody is safe. So this is the basic principle in a pandemic. Because if one country, let's say United Kingdom, vaccinates the entire citizenry, how long that will remain protected? Because the moment somebody moves from a poor country to UK, he can again bring the infection in UK or to any other country. So at the end, the entire world need to have a minimum level of vaccination or protection, so that everybody is safe, even the rich countries become safe. So the COVAX was formed. COVAX brought about 190 countries together. So 190 countries participated. They contributed funds, and a lot of people contributed funds to create a corpus. And COVAX tied up with multiple vaccine producing companies, that they will give vaccine shots to the COVAX at a very subsidized price, so that COVAX will provide vaccination to about 2 billion people by end of 2021. And this is already happening. So the good part is, and this will go primarily to the 92 middle and lower income countries. So 190 countries came together to support these 92 poor and middle income countries, so that they have the same level of vaccination as the richer countries who can afford to buy this vaccine. And now, COVAX, the good news is the major contributor to COVAX is India. Serum Institute is going to provide about 150 million dosage in the first quarter. By March end, 150 million dosage will go from India, and another 40 million will go from Pfizer. So they are expecting that by March end, 200 million dosage will be given in various countries who otherwise cannot afford vaccination. Now, this is such an important development which has happened, and this is unquestioned and is being done without any political interference, because this is a worldwide initiative. And this COVAX expects that if 20% of population worldwide gets vaccinated by 21 end, this will reduce the morbidity, this will reduce the disease burden of COVID, this will reduce the deaths related to COVID, because this vaccination will happen to those, initially to those who are the priority group, like how it is happening in India, that it is being given to healthcare workers, policemen, sanitation workers, all those people who come frequently in contact with the larger population. So the same thing will apply in all the countries worldwide, and that will lead to reduced number of deaths and reduced number of disease, and that will reduce burden on the hospitals. So friend, this was the basic background on which we will start talking about vaccination in India. Now, vaccination in India is very different than in many other countries, because India had a vaccination campaign for most of the infectious disease. Now, this is not something to be proud of, but the fact is that developed countries do not have so many infectious diseases. They have diabetes, they have heart diseases, but they don't have infectious diseases. India and many other developing countries have more infectious diseases. So we had more capability to fight those infectious diseases. We have all those campaigns and companies which were producing vaccines in last so many years. And another advantage was, because of these campaigns, we had a distribution system where vaccines can go right till the village level, right from the district level to taluka level to village level, and to primary health center and a panchayat level. And there was a cold chain to take the, let's say, the polio vaccine right till the village. So this came handy when COVID vaccine was being thought of, or when it was being planned, that we should have a campaign going. And the government and the companies really worked hard on this, that to use this system, and that has led to a, a, a plan that India has become the largest COVID vaccine producer. Now, how much of it will be used in India and how much it will be exported is a separate issue. But the fact remains that we have access to vaccine and good quality vaccines at the moment. Now, we all hear about those two vaccines that you talk in the media, and I will talk about them. But there are many other vaccines. There are at least 5 to 7 vaccines which the vaccine manufacturers have tied up with multinational companies to try them out in India and to sell them in India. Now, before I go on the specific vaccine, let me give you a word about the trial part of it. When the vaccine is tested, and people have a lot of apprehension that human beings are being used as guinea pigs and all, this is all crap in my mind. What happens is that vaccine first is tested. First, the scientists find out what is the antigen, what is the part of the bacteria or the virus that will generate a antibody response, which will create a vaccine. So that is done in the laboratory. Now, once scientists have found out the antigen, then this is injected in animals. This is the pre-trial phase. It is injected in animals, and animals' blood is drawn to see at what stage they form antibodies and is there a severe reaction in animals. Once it is done, then once the safety of the medicine, that injection antigen, that is assessed and its response antibody is assessed, then the first phase of trial is when it is injected in healthy young adult people, very small numbers, and they are closely monitored to see whether they have any reaction. That is phase 1 of trial. Now, that was done for all the vaccines worldwide, and it was seen that it was safe and efficacious, that they had enough antibodies. So that was phase 1. Phase 2 is when it is injected in larger population in hundreds, and that is again very controlled and with lot of close supervision of those people to see again the same thing, whether there are any major side effects, major reactions, and how many of them remained safe, they did not catch COVID or they did not have any adverse reaction. Once that is done, then the safety and efficacy is established. Then the third phase is phase 3 trial. Now, phase 3 trial is what is being scrutinized by media right now. Phase 3 trial is when it is offloaded on a larger population base to see its efficacy in different age groups. So let's say I want to see whether it is safe in above 65-year patients, whether they will have enough response to vaccine, whether it is safe in under 18 children, whether it is safe in pregnant women. So that is phase 3 trial. And once that is done, then it is scientifically accepted, and then it is launched for the population. Now, what has happened in vaccination in many countries? Let's start with China, which started its phase 3 trial somewhere in July 2020, sorry, very early, and they started it on the population without waiting for the results of the phase 3 trial. And the reason is very obvious. We all know it. We are going through a pandemic. We cannot wait, because every day that you delay a vaccine launch or taking a vaccine shot, the more people are falling sick and more people are dying. And the earlier we control this pandemic, earlier we reduce the number of deaths. And that is a very important determinant. Right now, we have become insensitive to the number of deaths, but every death should count. So, phase 3 trial has been waived off in China right from July till up till now. And the vaccine has not only been launched in China, it has been launched in United Arab Emirates, in Brazil, in Turkey, in many countries, and has been given to millions of people. Same thing is in Russian vaccine, that Sputnik, that also has been launched during the phase 3 trial and has been given to millions of people in different countries. So when the vaccine in India, the second vaccine, the COVAX vaccine, was launched during the phase 3 trial, uh, scientifically speaking, since I edit a journal, I'll ideally question it. But in a pandemic time, I'll say it was a wise decision, keeping the overall interest of the citizenry, and that's so important, because every day count and every death counts. So this is primarily about the trial part of it. Now, as far as the vaccinations are concerned, there are many types of vaccine, but primarily three types of vaccines. One is what is Covishield, which comes from Serum Institute. Now, this is a vaccine which use a very mild form of an influenza virus, and on which certain proteins have been added. Spike protein, you have all been very well informed about it, so that it generates a response. Now, this has been developed and studied in Oxford University and has been found to be acceptable worldwide in UK, in India, and many other countries. So this is one mechanism, and this mechanism is very well accepted. It has been tried and tested in many other vaccines in past. The second thing is what the other vaccine, the COVAX, is doing. It is using a dead COVID virus. So inactivated dead COVID virus, so it cannot cause disease, but it causes the same response as the disease virus causes. So that is the second kind of vaccine that is available in India. It is the same mechanism that has been done in for the Chinese vaccine. And why government said that this vaccine will work even against variants? Because this has the complete virus. It doesn't have only the spike protein, it has the complete virus. So theoretically speaking, if I am worried about variants, I will prefer a COVAX vaccine, because whatever variants happen, overall it's a complete virus. The response will always be better than those with few spikes. Because if those spikes get changed in over a period of time, because of the mutation, the vaccine's efficacy may go down. Obviously, the vaccine manufacturer can quickly change, improve it, and give you a better vaccine in future. But and that was precisely the reason which was stated, that if we are allowing the COVAX vaccine manufacturer to offload it during the phase 3 trial, because this will take care of UK variant. It will not take care of only UK variant. It will take care of probably all the variants that will come in near future. So friend, that those are the two vaccines that are available in India. Those are the two types of vaccine. Third type of vaccine is what is called mRNA vaccine, which is Pfizer and Moderna, which are at the moment not available in India, which are like a synthetic vaccine, where they are giving a product in your body which makes the cells of your body produce the antigen. So it tells the body cells to produce antigen which are similar or same antigens that a COVID virus has, and that will lead to antibody formation. So it's an entirely different approach. Many people have reservation about it, and I do not disagree with them. But the fact is that this is a very innovative approach, and the advantage is this can be multiplied very fast. It can be modified very fast, and it can be, because it's a lab generated, let's say lab generated virus producing or virus antigen producing system. It doesn't need the culture of the virus. It just produces the changes in the cells so that the antibodies are produced. So these are basically three types of vaccines that are there. Let's not talk of mRNA in India because it's not available, but the other two type, I'll be very happy to talk to you about that. Now comes the the safety part of it, why people are hesitating. I think it's more about the apprehension in people's mind, because these vaccines are being so closely looked upon by the media, and they are experts of all kinds. But the fact remains, we have been taking vaccines throughout our life. And those who are not taking our, you must also take. Influenza vaccine should be taken every year. It's compulsory in many countries. So many of us take these vaccines every year, and we do not even bother what technology it is. Uh, uh, and generally, a vaccine has a mild reaction for few hours or a day or so, because it is supposed to create the reaction. If vaccine doesn't cause a response to it, probably the vaccine will not be effective. But as I said, I went on the very fourth day as soon as I was called to take the shot myself, at a time when most of the healthcare workers or doctors were also hesitating. And a hospital where I am associated, 100% of the staff has taken the vaccination just 2 days back. So I think there has should be no hesitation in taking vaccine. Obviously, it is always your informed decision. As far as the reactions that you see in media, please understand, this is how we explain the a side effect or a complication of a surgery to our patients. Nobody mentions that 10,000 cars went on this road today without any accident. It never comes in media. But if there is an accident on that day, then it comes in the media that there has been an accident on the road. Same thing is about adverse events. Nobody is talking about that India has almost given 4 million, as Mr. Goel mentioned initially, 4 million vaccine shots in about 15 days. Or US is injecting 1 million vaccine shots a day. But if three persons had some kind of reaction, or if one person had a death because of some heart problem or something else, it becomes an international news today because the media glare is there. But if you look at the percentage of it, it will not be even 0.0001 or so percentage, which is much less than what people can have an accident on the road or can have a complication of a surgery. So I think the fear of vaccine, obviously we must discuss. I never believe in hiding anything or having a censorship on the media about discussion on vaccine. We must have that discussion, but at the end of the day, people must realize this discussion is for your own interest, but go by the opinion of your healthcare worker, of your doctor, and also your own informed opinion about your own safety, because vaccine is the only way that you are assured that the disease will not be severe in you or in your family. It's very important because you may have elderly parents, so if you're not taking a vaccine, you are exposing them to a disease which could have been avoided, because if you're going out, you can bring back infection at your home. And if you are vaccinated, and if your parents are also vaccinated, none of you will have a severe disease. And the only way herd immunity will come through the vaccination. As far as the program in India is concerned, last few words, I think the program is little slow at the beginning, but probably government wanted to make sure that the things are in place. And as it is picking up pace, when I went to get vaccination, the place was empty, deserted. Out of eight booths where injections could be given, I was using the only one in one booth. But from very next day, there has been increasing queues, and there is people are waiting to get vaccinated. So I think we should be targeting reaching some 22 million doses a year, a day, countrywide, and which is very much possible. We are almost, as Mr. Goel mentioned, we are almost giving about 500,000 a day, and reaching 1 million a day will be just a week or 10 days time. And we can exceed that because we are such a decentralized country and vaccines are available. So I think let there be no confusion in anybody's mind about vaccine efficacy and safety, and about taking vaccine shot. I'll be very happy to have your opinion and see how youth works on this information. You have phenomenal role to play because social media is in the hands of the young, and it's not about social media only. Uh, 90% of decisions in my family are dictated by my daughter and my son. So you are the influencer in the family and influencer of the society. And if you have a scientific information about it, about something, you can change the perception overnight. So I'm very happy to be here among you all. Thanks, Mr. Goel, and all the media partners who have organized this program. And I'm here to listen to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Goel, for explaining about the vaccine in such a way that I'm sure all our participants as well as all the viewers got the fair idea about the vaccination, why the vaccination is required, what is vaccine, how it is manufactured, and why it is required, and how the vaccination plan is going on, and the role of youth in particular. Thank you very much, Dr. Goel. I am sure that this will be a very, very long-lasting impact on our viewers as well as the youth, for so that they will come forward definitely and see to it that every citizen of India will not hesitate. Nobody will hesitate. Rather, they will come forward and take the vaccination. Now, let's take the views of our youth participants today. And I would like to invite my first youth guest, and she is Miss Ashal Benny. Miss Benny, please unmute yourself. Miss Benny, you have heard what our chief guest, Dr. Raman Goel, has spoken. Now, we would like to know from you the role of youth in vaccination. Miss Ashal Benny, please. First, you introduce yourself and then speak.
Yeah, yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Good morning to everyone. I'm Ashil Bini and I live in Mangalore and I am a nurse by profession. I feel much privileged to be called into this conference to speak about the role of youth in vaccination. Before I could move on, I would take this opportunity to thank Ms. Lal Goel, the chief editor, Dr. Ramanan Goel, the chief guest, and all the channel technicians this program, telecasting them. And in a special way, I would like to thank Mr. N.V. Paulos for inviting me here as one among the youth guests. Before I could move on to the role of youth, I would like to brief about vaccination. A vaccination is the most powerful way to cure the disease. When we are vaccinated, the body's immune system will be activated to recognize the invading pathogen and produce antibiotics. This means that if a person is exposed to dangerous pathogen in the future, the immune system should respond immediately to destroy it with their antibodies, and this will protect us against the disease. Throughout history, humans have developed vaccines for a number of life-threatening diseases. A vaccine usually goes through a preclinical research, three phases of clinical trials. So they are regulatory approval, manufacturing, and circulatory before it is being released. In a public perception, the strategy of being vaccinated is to achieve herd immunity. So herd immunity is something when enough people in a population are vaccinated, the spread of virus will be effectively stopped and the rate of people being infected decreases. For example, if 80% of the population are immune to a virus, 4 out of every 5 people are encountered, someone with the disease won't get sick. In this way, the spread of infection disease is kept under control. So from this, we can understand that taking vaccine is a civil duty as a citizen of the country. Whenever we get an opportunity to get vaccinated, get vaccinated. But we know that there is something called vaccine hesitancy, and many people are afraid of vaccines, especially new ones which are come onto the market. It is important to address people's concern and make sure that the people get accurate information and have trust that the vaccines that they are taking is safe and will work to protect them and their community. To hesitancy of the can be a volunteer to receive vaccination. By receiving the vaccine, we are being an inspiration and also motivate the others. This is done to eradicate the fear among the youth and people who think vaccination is harmful and not safe. I could give an example of something that happened recently. We were given an opportunity in a hospital to be vaccinated, and a lot of people hesitated because of the fear of what could happen in their future. So basically, how did this appear? It's because of the message and knowledge that we got from media. In this era of internet, there are a lot of people who stress on the taboos that vaccines are not good. It's harmful through a lot of media, such as posters and forward messages that we receive through WhatsApp and Facebook, which seems to be more convincing when the common people read them. We read lies, we spread lies. It's not really intentional, but not always without knowing the authenticity of the matter. Sometimes we do. No vaccines can be introduced without any researches done by the scientists. So let's spread awareness and build hope among the for a better tomorrow. We the youth can make successful by following the precautions measures. Till a year or even for some years maybe, like keeping physical distance, wearing masks, sanitizing, all these would help us to protect ourselves and others. Maybe in later stages, as these things get better, we can be a volunteer to some campaign, vaccination campaign. We can have some street plays, dramas, or awareness program to help depending on the future needs. On an essential practice is that we shouldn't be panicked after receiving the vaccine. It could unnecessarily worsen our health and in turn make us think that vaccine is spoiling our health while you are losing your health due to your own worries and ideas of vaccine, which is not true. This would affect both the physical and psychological health. So think positive, be positive, eat well, sleep well, enjoy well, exercise well, play well, and be happy, and unnecessarily don't take tension and cause extra side effects because of our own thinking. And as a citizen of India, and it is our duty to see that the India is cured from this pandemic as we are facing corona these days. I personally, as a youth, have been vaccinated, and I feel it's a privilege to be vaccinated and to be a frontline warrior in my own country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Benny, for giving your very positive views about the vaccination, and congratulations that you have already taken the vaccine. And you rightly said about the forwards which are in the WhatsApp University. One must screen. After all the youths are intelligent enough to understand, and if they want to search, they can go on WHO or all those authentic sites, the Lancet, etc., where that they can very well get the proper authentic information instead of getting information from XYZ, those who are not having any information, as also told by Dr. Goel, our chief guest today. Thank you very much, Ms. Benny. Now, I would like to invite my next youth guest, and she is Ms. Lainchi S. Marak. Ms. Marak, please unmute yourself. Ms. Marak, you have heard our chief guest, Dr. Ramin Goel. You have also heard the earlier panelist. Now, we would like to know from you the role of youth in vaccination. Ms. Marak, please. Please unmute yourself, Ms. Marak. Yes.
Very good morning to the respected chairman, chief guest, and all to other invited guests. My name is Liangchi S. Marak. I'm currently pursuing my graduation in management, Loyola College, William Nagar, Meghalaya. Here, I would like to begin youth being the most responsible and curious section of the society is an essential component which plays an important role in knowing whether the present situation, whether the present scenario is favorable or not. The vaccination, as we can see, it plays an important role in our life. As we look into the history of vaccinations, whether it be disease like polio, hepatitis, Ebola, etc. Ebola, which was the most deadly virus, has been under control due to vaccinations. Being a youth, it is a responsibility to generate awareness among the people. The youth, we can consider it as most active parts of the society, and hence their active participation can lead to the help of the most needy ones in the society. They can reach out to the people who can't go out or to those people who are unaware of the present scenario. They are the most trusted ones as they are educated, and hence many people believe in them. This is like corona requires vaccination as soon as possible, as it has already taken an uncountable lives. in that the youth can help the needy ones first by becoming aware about the situation area-wise. And we as a youth always having an intangible responsibility towards each of those weak people in the society who are not in a position to take any decisions regarding vaccinations and other processes. We as a youth have to come out and help the administration to complete the vaccination process smoothly in our locality, as well as create a positive awareness by ignoring the fake news from different parts of the country through social media and through political speeches, etc. Therefore, I'm a youth of a Garo society, and I consider and I will do my best to support the administration in this vaccination process, and at the same time encourage others to do the same in these difficult times. I consider that it is the right time to come forward as a youth to share the responsibilities towards the society for the peaceful and harmonious environment. Um, with this, I conclude. Thank you so much for giving me this
Thank,
opportunity.
Thank you very much, Ms. Marak. And you have made a very good point that the youth should come forward and see to it no fake news regarding the vaccine is spread across the country. And you also said that youth must create a positive atmosphere so that every citizen of the country will go for the vaccination. Thank you very much, Ms. Marak. And I'm sure if we have such types of youth in our country, then the day is not far when we will be achieving our targets very soon. Thank you very much, Ms. Marak, for giving your views. Now, my next youth guest is Ms. Nikhila M. Ms. Nikhila M, you have heard, please unmute yourself. Ms. Nikhila M, you have heard our chief guest, Dr. Lal Goel, as well as earlier youth guests. Now, we would like to know from you the role of youth in vaccination. Ms. Nikhila M, please first introduce yourself and then speak, please. No, we are, Ms. Nikhila, your voice is not coming. Ms. Nikhila, your voice is not coming. Just see, you have.
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, now, yes, now, please go ahead.
Okay. Good morning to all. I'm Nigila M. I'm from Kerala. I'm doing my UG program on LSC College of Finance Science, Kerala. And First of all, I would like to thank the respected authorities for giving me a chance to explore my views on the topic, the role of youth in vaccination. As we all know, youth is the most important segment of the population. They are the saviors in any country, so that we need to protect the youth from any kind of diseases. So, role of youth in vaccination is an important factor. Vaccination is a precautionary measure against any diseases in children to adult. Vaccination protects our health and our family's health too. We may think that vaccination as something on our children need, but all adults also need to vaccinate to protect their health. It is important to get vaccine every single year. By getting vaccine, we can prevent the diseases like Shigella and pneumonia. Now also, the elder people may not convene about vaccine. Such situation, youth can also aware them about the importance of vaccine. Vaccination protects the vaccinated persons and those who around them. Vaccination reduces the risk of spreading diseases among family members, schoolmates, neighbors, and other people. The community immunization program helps to reduces the social, psychological, and financial burdens of diseases on people and government. Vaccine preventable infections are dangerous. Every year, approximately 50,000 of US adults die from vaccine preventable diseases. So, vaccination is an effective way to become immunized against diseases. However, some vaccine cause a temporary headache, fatigue, or loss of appetite. Rarely, some have allergic reactions or a neurological side effects such as seizure. Although these rare side effects are a concern, that risk of vaccine causing serious harm or death is extremely small. We all know COVID-19 is a major threat that exists in today's society. In my opinion, based on current researches, COVID mostly affects the children, elder people, and people with asthma, cancer, and etc. Therefore, it is up to the youth to be more involved in COVID defense. So, youth can make other people aware of the virus by educating our family and community. Spread community awareness like online campaigns and offline campaigns if it's possible. Then find opportunity to volunteer the society. If there are elder people or immunocompromised people, help them to find a label charity like UN Foundation and Swiss Philanthropy. And also follow the WHO guidelines. It is very important to be careful in washing your hands and more often avoid crowded spaces. And through this, protect yourself and others. Youth can protect our nation through such type of informations. Prior to this, young people played a major role in preventing various viruses such as COVID. World Health Organization congratulated India for launching one of the world's largest vaccination camp called Rubella Vaccine Camp against measles, a major childhood killer disease. And CRS is responsible for irreversible birth defects. It helped to vaccinate more than 35 million children in the age group of 9 months to 15 years. All this happened due to the massive participation of the youth. Later and still also, young people can do it. Nowadays, there is a lot of question around us about our children. How can you help your children, and how can you keep your children safe, or how can you help them grow with immunity? The answer is here: get them vaccinated, and also create a generation with good health and energy. Also, rise the country economically, socially, and healthily by creating a healthy and intelligent generation. Youth are the one who can work for this society 100% sincerely. You work hard, you make money, you do it for yourself. That's not life. You go out, you seek for people who need your help. That's the day when you live. And this is not my words, this is the words of the famous motivational speaker and a social actress Muniba Misari, a person who forget her own disabilities and work for others. She's a great model for the youth. Youth have the power to make a beautiful, healthy society. So, role of youth is very important in our nation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Nikla. Yes, you are right. The role have a very important role to make the society or the nation. And if youth will take it, such type of positive decision and create the awareness, as you have mentioned, definitely we can very well easily achieve the targets of vaccinating the entire country soon. Thank you very much, Ms. Nikla, for giving your views. Now, I would like to invite my next youth guest, and he's Mr. Nishan N. Mr. Nishan, please unmute yourself. You have heard our chief guest, Dr. Lal Goel, as well as other youth guests who has spoken earlier to you. Now, we would like to know from you the role of youth in vaccination. Please introduce yourself and please speak.
Yes, sir. Hello everyone. Myself Nishan, studying in SDM Law College. So there has been confusion and misunderstanding about vaccine, but vaccinations are an important part of society and public health. Vaccines prevent the spread of dangerous and deadly diseases and saves millions of lives. It's duty of youth to educate people, clear the mistrust, and vaccine. The first vaccine discovered was the smallpox vaccine. Smallpox was illness. It killed around 300 to 500 million people in the last century. After the vaccine was given to the world, the disease was eventually erased. It's the only to be completely destroyed. There are now other close to that, including polio. I hope next will be COVID-19. What are vaccines? A vaccine is a way to build your body's natural immunity to disease before you get sick. some illness strains of cold viruses are fairly mild, but some like pox or polio, even COVID-19, can cause life-altering changes. They can cause death. That's why preventing your body from contacting this disease is very important. So usually ask question, are there side effects to vaccines? There can be side effects after you or your vaccine. They are usually mild. It takes development and testing before a vaccine is approved as safe and effective. Also inspect places where the vaccines are produced to make rules are being followed. Vaccines are safe. The benefit of their use are far outweigh any risk of death. The majority of youths understand the benefits of immunization and support its use. Many people have important conceptions that could erode their confidence in a systematic educational effort addressing common misconceptions is needed to ensure informed immunization decisions. Youths have a unique opportunity to educate because parents see us as the most. Make sure your loved ones know vaccinations aren't just to keep our immune system strong and protect those. Some vaccines are needed on regular basis. Spread the word to help others. Ensure they're up to date. On in one of the media conference of Sir Lal Goel on top role of youth in positive media, he had suggested some points. I would like to repeat. As youth, before spreading fake news or forward messages on or on any other social media, we have to do research on it, have realized, and then we have to interpret it on our own view and write comments, and then educate people with the actual fact by sharing it in spreading fake messages or ambiguous messages or news. So in high time, youth should individually pledge that he will get vaccinated, and he will suggest the family member to get vaccinated, and also they have to spread positivity among the community as well. In India, around 40 lakhs and all people already received their first dose, but very few people got mild side effect. As we know, two doses of vaccine 8 days apart need to be taken, an individual vaccination schedule. And even after taking second dose, it takes 15 days to make that vaccine work. So before that, if any vaccinated comes into contact with virus, he will definitely get test positive. Instead of spreading wrong news, we have to try to educate people regarding this. Indian government has multiple legal options for to vaccinate against COVID-19. But while a person may be confident about not requiring a vaccination because he himself believes that he can fight off the disease, it will not stop him from infecting us. Might be from high risk category. Thus, vaccination in relation to infectious disease is not simply about his choice, but it is not only for his own body, as an obligation for the sake of public health. As a legislative measure, Parliament and state legislatures can always enact a special law incorporating such an obligation. Something similar was done by the British government to deal with the smallpox epidemic through the Compulsory Vaccination Act of 1892. If the governments want an executive measure, there are various existing laws and enable them such as steps. The Epidemic Disease Act of 1897 empowers state government to take whatever measure it is necessary to prevent the outbreak of an epidemic disease. The National Disaster Act of 2005 has the wide range of powers from Section 6 and 10. It is such that it possible for authorities to mandate compulsory vaccination. The central government can also enforce such a measure 62 of the Act. As India is sending vaccine to neighboring countries free of cost, and people of those countries are ready to take. The question is, why not us? I would like to thank Lal Goel sir, Paul sir, and Chief Guest Raman sir, and thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nishan, for giving your views. And I am happy that at least if media conference with Lal Goel has impacted you even for the positive news, yes, because the duty or role of the youth is to see that the news is positive, news is not a fake news, and then you can spread it. But if it is a fake news, it's a negative news, try not to encourage it, because it is not going to harm you directly, but it can harm even your family, your society, or the country, and ultimately it's the matter of harming you also. And you have rightly said about the legality, because you are a law student, you have mentioned few laws. But instead of going for law, even if the youth will decide, they can do wonders and they can play very, very positive roles. Thank you very much, Mr. Nishan, for giving your views. Now I would like to invite my next youth guest, and he is Mr. Sachin Singh. Mr. Sachin Singh, please unmute yourself. Mr. Sachin Singh, you have heard our chief guest, Dr. Lal Goel, as well as earlier youth guests. Now we would like to know from you the role of youth in vaccination. Mr. Sachin Singh, please first introduce yourself and then go ahead.
Basically, I belong from a semi-rural area, so I want to put my things in Hindi so that the all viewers that is listening to me is belong to semi-rural area, rural area. They can understand my thing very well along with English. So I want to say my things in Hindi if you give me permission.
Yes, yes, please go ahead.
Yeah,
First introduce. अपने को परिचय दीजिए पहले आप.
जी जी सर, मैं सचिन हूँ, एक बैसकाठी कौसाम्बी यूपी का रहने वाला हूँ और बेसिकली डिस्कोर्स एकेडमी की तरफ से आया हूँ और आप लोग के वजह से मैं यहाँ बोल पा रहा हूँ. तो मैं ये चीजें हिंदी में इसलिए रखना चाह रहा हूँ क्योंकि ये जो प्रॉब्लम वैक्सीनेशन का है, सबसे बड़ी जो इसकी फेस करने की प्रॉब्लम है, ये हमारे ग्रामीण क्षेत्रों में ही है रेदर देन सिटीज. क्योंकि यहाँ के जो लोग हैं वो लेस एजुकेटेड है, तो उनको किसी चीज को समझाने में जो प्रॉब्लम फेस होती है वो शायद सिटीज या और बड़े शहरों की अपेक्षा ज्यादा होती है. चीजें तो समझ में आ रही है, यहाँ भी पॉसिबल है चीजों को समझाना और लोग अवेयर हैं. ऐसा नहीं कहा जा सकता कि लेस एजुकेटेड पीपल इज नॉट अवेयर अबाउट दिस कोरोना वायरस, बट यहाँ की जो समस्याएं हैं वहाँ एजुकेटेड लोग ज्यादा मतलब कम चीजों को ज्यादा समझ सकते हैं रेदर देन ग्रामीण की अपेक्षा. तो मैं इसलिए कहना चाह रहा हूँ कि ये जो वैक्सीन है इसके बारे में अच्छी राय है ग्रामीणों की भी. मुझे लगता है कि चीजें अवेयर हैं, आज सारे लोग इससे लेके सुरक्षित हैं. और मैं पहले इसके ब्रीफली डिस्क्राइब करना चाहता हूँ, अपने उन साइंटिस्ट का धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूँ जिन्होंने इतना बड़ी मेहनत करके चीजों को हैंडल किया और जो शायद अपने आप में एक बहुत बड़ा रोल है, क्योंकि ये जो वैक्सीन बनी है खुद ही एक वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड कही जा सकती है हमारे इंडियन साइंटिस्ट के लिए, क्योंकि ये पहली ऐसी वैक्सीन होगी जो इतने लेस टाइम में बनी. मान लीजिए 1 साल या 10 महीने में बन गई है, जो दुनिया में पहली ऐसी वैक्सीन है. क्योंकि जहां तक मुझे अंदाजा है, जो पोलियो की वैक्सीन थी उसको बनने में 43 इयर्स लगे थे और फाइजर और चिकन पॉक्स की 42 इयर्स में बनी थी. और ये भी एक बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज रहा है हमारे मतलब वैज्ञानिकों के लिए, और जो चिकित्सा अधिकारी थे उन्होंने जितना रात दिन मेहनत करके ये सारी चीजों को अचीव किया है, इसके लिए उनका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. और अब शायद ये जो जिसका कोरोना इतना अचानक जो हम लोग की डेली लाइफ में आया, अचानक ऐसी बीमारी आई जिससे ना हम लोग किसी तरह से अछूते रहे, तुरंत आउटब्रेक हुआ. ये चीजें हम देखते ही इतना स्प्रेड हो रही है अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड कि चीजों को हैंडल करना हम लोग के लिए मुश्किल था. और अभी तक कुछ दिन पहले तक हमें इतना डर था कि चीजें कैसे हैंडल होंगी, हम लोग के लिए इम्पॉसिबल सा दिख रहा था और पूरा देश इसकी चपेट में था. और शायद ही मैंने 20 साल की उम्र में इससे पहले कभी ऐसी चीजों को सुना है या फील किया है कि ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि अचानक आप घर में बंद है, बाहर चीजों को छुए या टच करे तब भी आप इससे अफेक्टेड हो. तो ये सब ऐसी चीजें देख के ग्रामीणों में तो जो भीड़, वो ऐसा भगदड़ का माहौल था वो तो था ही, उसके बाद बहुत डर का अनुमान था कि चीजें नहीं हो पाएंगी. और सबसे बड़ा अचीवमेंट ये है कि हम लोग आज सेल्फ डिपेंडेंट हैं. सेल्फ डिपेंडेंट कहने का मतलब ये है कि हमारे साइंटिस्ट आज इतने योग्य हो चुके हैं, जो खुद अच्छा लगता है सुन के. एज ए यूथ मैं एक्सपेक्ट करता हूँ चीजों को अच्छी करने की, या मैं खुद इसमें इन्वॉल्व हूँ तो मेरा सौभाग्य रहेगा कि उन्होंने अपने खुद के उसमें पे आज हम किसी दूसरे देश के ऊपर डिपेंडेंट नहीं है. और ये सबसे बड़ा वैक्सीनेशन का ये एक अच्छा रिकॉर्ड है जो अभी रिसेंटली हमारे प्रधानमंत्री साहब ने डिस्क्राइब किया कि जो मतलब 30 लाख से ज्यादा वैक्सीनेट पीपल हैं 15 दिन में हमारे कंट्री में हुए हैं. 16 जनवरी से, जहां तक मुझे अंदाजा है 16 जनवरी से वैक्सीनेशन शुरू हुआ था और 26 जनवरी 28 जनवरी को पीएम मोदी ने मन की बात कही थी, तो उसमें डिस्क्राइब किया गया था कि जो चीजें हमारे देश में वैक्सीनेशन को लेके 15 दिन में पूरी कर ली गई 30 लाख से ज्यादा, वो चीजें ब्रिटेन जैसे और अमेरिका जैसे देशों को 36 दिन और अमेरिका जैसे विकास देश को 18 दिन लगे. तो ये भी एक बहुत बड़ा अचीवमेंट है कि हम लोग उस क्षेत्र में कुछ अच्छा कर रहे हैं, जिससे ब्रिटेन के प्रधानमंत्री ने हमें बधाई भी दी तो ये एक खुद में एक बहुत बड़ा अचीवमेंट है कि हम चीजें पा रहे हैं। और रोल, अब इसमें जो रोल है, यूथ का रोल तो बहुत है। और एज अ यूथ मैंने जैसे खुद डिस्क्राइब किया था कि जब मैं इन चीजों को इस मतलब इसमें इन्वॉल्व था, तो मैंने खुद लोगों को जाके अवेयर किया घर घर जाके। और मेरे बड़े भैया जो है वो खुद एक होम्योपैथी हॉस्पिटल में हैं, तो उन्होंने चीजें लोगों तक पहुंचाई जो कर सकते थे। तो अच्छा लगा मुझे देख के, और मैं भी यही कोशिश करता हूँ कि चीजें कहीं न कहीं हों, अच्छी तरीके से हों। और मेरा यही प्रयास रहता है कि सभी लोग तक चीजें पहुँचे। और आज के इस दौर में कोरोना का सबसे शक्तिशाली वेपन हम लोग कह सकते हैं तो ये जागरूकता ही है, जिसके वजह से हम अधिक मतलब युवा मतलब चीजों को जागरूक करके ही लोगों को समझा सकते हैं। और इसमें यूथ की एजुकेशन का बहुत बड़ा रोल है, कैसे वो प्ले करता है चीजों को। और जैसा कि मैंने देखा कि कोरोना पीरियड में जितने भी यूथ से यंगस्टर थे, उन्होंने अपनी सारी भागीदारी पूर्णतः निभाई, चाहे वो पुलिस क्षेत्र में हो, चाहे वो पॉलिटिकल में हो, चाहे जिसमें हो, जिससे भी युवा जुड़ा रहा, वो पूरी जी-जान से जुड़ा रहा। जैसे रमन सर ने अभी बताया कि साइंटिस्ट का मैं मानता हूँ कि बहुत बड़ा रोल है, लेकिन उसमें जहाँ कहीं न कहीं उन लोग के साथ जो चीज़ें रही हैं, उसमें यूथ ने भी बहुत बड़ा इम्पोर्टेंट रोल प्ले किया है। तो मैं ये चाहता हूँ कि यूथ जैसे मैं कर रहा हूँ, कोशिश करता हूँ सभी लोग को ये चीज़ें पहुँचे कि जितना भी हम कर सकते हैं, लोगों को जागरूक कर सकते हैं, चाहे वो जहाँ से रिलेटेड हो, उसको समझाएँ इन चीज़ों के बारे में कि चीज़ें आसान हैं, इससे कोई साइड इफ़ेक्ट नहीं है। जैसा कि फेक न्यूज़ के ज़रिए चीज़ें हाइक भी हो रही हैं कि उल्टा-पुल्टा आ रहा है। जैसे मैंने खुद ही 1-2 बार अभी सफ़रिंग करते हुए इसमें देखा कि क्या साइड इफ़ेक्ट है इसके, देखिए क्या ये कारगर साबित हो सकती है कि नहीं हो सकती है। तो चीज़ें कहीं न कहीं समझाने की भी ज़रूरत है लोगों को। और कोशिश यही करना है कि हम लोग एज़ अ यूथ ये सब चीज़ों को ना फैलाएँ, और कोशिश करें कि फैलने से भी रोकें, कि मैसेज फॉरवर्ड करना उचित नहीं कहा जा सकता है। और इससे जागरूकता होती है, लेकिन कहीं न कहीं लेस एजुकेटेड पीपल में ये सब प्रोपेगेंडास का जो फेक न्यूज़ होती है, इसका बहुत इफ़ेक्ट पड़ता है। तो चीज़ों को समझाना ज़रूरी है, और शायद वो समझते भी हैं इस चीज़ को। तो मैं ये कोशिश यही करता हूँ कि चीज़ें सब अच्छी ठीक ढंग से रहें, और कोशिश है कि हम लोग के साथ ये सब ठीक-ठाक रहे। जी, धन्यवाद।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सचिन सिंह जी. So very nice, Mr. Singh, because he has raised a very relevant point that the vaccination is drive is effective and is propagated properly in the urban area, but
जी,
the
जी।
rural area where there is a less educated people,
जी, जी।
the villagers, it is very much required the role of youth in the rural area to
जी।
convince those who are not understanding and those who are depending on the fake news. So
ठीक है।
what Mr. Singh has raised the point is a very, very valid point. And I'm sure youths like Mr. Singh who are spreading these types of positive words will definitely change the scenario even in the rural area. Thank you very much, Mr. Singh, for giving your views. Now I would like to invite my next youth guest, and he is Mr. Shivats Somyaji. Mr. Shivats Somyaji, you have heard our chief guest, Dr. Lal Goel, as well as earlier youth guests. Now, we would like to know from you the role of youth in vaccination. Mr. Srivats Somyaji.
Necessity is the mother of all inventions. Today, I'm going to speak about the topic of the role of youth in the vaccination. A nation to grow and develop without any doubt, it's a good role of its youth population. Therefore, one should also no doubts at all the role of youth in vaccination. Any nation, for its growth, development, and success, needs its youth role in a right, prompt direction. Youth is growth, youth is speed, and youth is development. Hence, the role of youth is must and need of the hour. In the present scenario, youth needs to be serious, prompt, and act to its best capacity. Let the youth play its role as a friend, philosopher, and guide. Success always to walk in. The health of nation is its wealth. If any nation suffer, it is its youth suffering. Hence, the youth should definitely play a vital role in the hour of pandemic. The pandemic has oozed away the life of development and health. It has created havoc. Progress has come to grinding halt. Now, because of vaccine, it's slowly coming to normal, but people have doubts, fears, and lot of questions. The youth can play a vital role in solving these problems. Youth can encourage, organize, help, and guide the general public, especially the uneducated. Youth can help to overcome this fear. It can help organize and make the arrangements for vaccination, can also drive away fear of confusion about it. It can help being in the aged and the physically challenged to the center of vaccination. It can also create comfort for general public at the site of vaccination. The youth can also work as a watchdog. So no fraud takes place. It can keep the public informed about the process of vaccination. The youth must also be a watchdog for false news and false camps with regards to vaccination. Hence, youth can save the quality of life of people and be its blessings by working towards right path of the whole process. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Soumya and Mr. Soumya ji. And yes, you rightly said the youth can play a very, very important role for creating the atmosphere for the positiveness. And one thing I can add in this, like we were seeing in last 10 months or so, that every day we were receiving the message about that how many corona new cases were there, how many have been admitted, deceased, mortality rate, etc. The youth can start now spreading the message how many has been vaccinated every day in India and abroad and the worldwide. So this will also be big positive role youth can play if they will get, because this is available in the government site every day, the evening they are updating the number of vaccinations every day. That if youth can take a decision that they will start spreading this message across the youth, it will be a very, very effective and positive role, because the people will understand, okay, so many millions have already vaccinated, why should I not go for the vaccination? Thank you very much, Mr. Somyaji, for giving your positive views. Now I would like to go for my last youth guest, and she is Miss Teja Kishore. Miss Teja Kishore, yes, please unmute yourself. And Mr. Kishore, you have heard our chief guest, Dr. Lal Goel, as well as all earlier youth guest who has spoken. Now, you would like to know from you the role of youth in vaccination. First, introduce yourself and please speak.
Namaste all. I am Teja Kishore. I'm a grade 11 humanities student from Kulapati Munshi Bhavan's Vidya Mandir, Pottur, Thrissur, Kerala. So, talking about the youth's role in vaccination. I would like to say that the coronavirus, it was a pandemic that made us realize that we all are connected and this entire world is a family. Although connected, medical experts have suggested social distancing as one of the perfect solution to fight against the new evil. Now, we have this vaccination as one of the solution to fight against the new evil. Youth in India constitutes about more than 1/4 of the total population. We, as a responsible youth of this country, should participate in this battle against the zoonotic disease. Now, let's understand the role of youth in this battle. To name some of them from the canvas of history, Lenin, the Russian youth, had a major contribution to the Russian Revolution. Likewise, Mazzini and Bhagat Singh also contributed their role for the country. This battle can be won by helping the government in this time of exigency. We can spread the right awareness in our friend circle, family, etc. WhatsApp and social media groups always have as much as traffic on our roads. There are so many WhatsApp groups, so many social media like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everything. So in order to spread something, we should, what do you say? We should know that if the thing is correct or if it is true before forwarding a message. If a safe and effective vaccine becomes available after convincing clinical traits and judicious regulatory approvals, it is best to get vaccinated. COVID-19 is a highly infectious virus which causes varied clinical manifestations with a wide range of severity. It has not been easy to predict who can be safe from it and who cannot be safe from it. Even young persons have been known to have become severely ill or die, though not as often as the elderly. The level of viral viral load a person is exposed to, the innate immunity status, or pre-existing health conditions may be factors which influence this severity. So because of this unpredictable nature, everyone should feel vulnerable and seek protection. So in this case, I would like to say that everyone should get vaccinated. A natural infection can provide differing levels of immunity based on the variable viral load different persons are exposed to. We do not know how long such immunity lasts in a person, like lasts in each person. A vaccine administers a standardized dose um, that elicits a good immune response, which is likely to last longer than a natural infection of a variable viral exposure and clinical severity. For that reason, getting immunized is a very good idea. Further, other countries may not allow an non-immunized person to travel there if the virus is still actively circulating. Young persons constitute an interesting challenge. They are essential for current economic activity or need to pursue education, which is an investment for future economic revival and growth. They are highly exposed to the virus because of their higher mobility and socializing. While they are at low risk of severe infection, they can infect others, especially the elderly members of their family. Are they an early priority for immunization or a later priority? Opinions are divided on that. It depends on the amount of vaccine available. If only limited quantities are available, the older age groups will take priority and the demographic bulge of young persons will need to wait. I would like to continue. I would like to conclude by saying that each and every youth should put themselves forward for taking vaccination because it is a way we could prevent this COVID-19 from spreading. Thank you so much, Mr. Lal Goel, sir, and Dr. Raman Goel for spending your valuable time saying how vaccine is useful and how it is made and so many things. Thank you so much for providing me with this opportunity to speak over here. I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kishore, for giving your views. And I would like to add one thing that when we are talking about youth and when we are talking about Serum Institute, you should all know that Mr. Adhar Poonawala, the person who is behind the vaccine, is only 40 years old. So he is also a youth. So we are proud of our youth and young generation. Because of you, we are getting the vaccination and we are going to get vaccinated the entire country because of the youth only, because the active participation of you all. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to go back to our chief guest for his concluding remarks. Dr. Raman Goel, you have heard all the youths who have raised their voice. And now we would like to know from you about the vaccination, your concluding remarks about our youths who have spoken on the subject today. Dr. Raman Goel, please.
I'm so glad that I came to this show because, I get a feedback from so many people from different parts of the country. And I realize that this COVID has been a great leveler. People have so much awareness about health today. Like the last speaker, Teja was talking about the immunity, that, everybody knows what is a healthy diet, what vitamins you should take, why you should take that, and why you should remain healthy. I think what is required is that we don't lose this information or knowledge that we have acquired and maintain it even after COVID goes away. So if you are eating healthy, if you are living healthy, you are less likely to have this disease. And that's so important. I'm also glad to see the first speaker, Ms. Benny, talking about taking the vaccine herself. So friends, I always believe, you have been talking about your social role as the youth. I think before you go, trying to improve others, it's very important to take care of yourself. Somebody has said that self-transformation is word transformation. if you improve yourself, like how Benny said that she has taken a vaccine herself, you become a role model for your friends on Facebook, your role model on your to your family, to neighbors, to your people working in your household, like how Sachin Singh was saying that in rural areas it's difficult to spread the word. So if he takes a vaccine at an early stage, a lot of people know that an educated boy like him is taking a vaccine without fear, and that spreads the word far and wide. So I think being a role model is the best way to spread word in this country. 90% of the problem, and I'm going against your way of saying, 90% of the problems in this country are because we try to improve others. Everybody is trying to improve others, but we are not looking at ourselves, that what we are doing. So I think youth has phenomenal role to play to improve themselves, to be a role model for their friends and neighbors, and that's very important. uh, at the end, I would say that all those of you who have spoken about COVID, the COVID is not going to go away. We are going to use these masks maybe next 2 years, 5 years, God knows. But we can keep ourselves safe if we follow the basic principles. And if you since you know the science now, it's coming in the media every day. More people are dying who are unhealthy. More people are dying who are obese. More people are dying who are diabetic. More people are dying whose heart functions are not good. So it's even more important to keep your health, keep yourself healthy. And not only when you're young, also when you become senior. The issue is at young age, even if you are not exercising, it will not make much difference. But when you become senior, your exercise can protect you from these diseases. Your eating healthy can protect you from these diseases. So I think it's very important to understand the scientific basis of the discussion, just not go by the numbers. Look at what is happening. And one thing that COVID has shown us, that even the very big countries like USA and UK are struggling to catch up with COVID related problems, while countries like India or let's look even smaller countries like Taiwan and Singapore and Thailand have overtaken controlled COVID so well. So it's very important that you don't need to worry whether you are in a big country or in a small country or a developed country or developing country. You can contribute in a big way to improve this, improve your surroundings, and to live healthy and have a healthy environment. I think this is an important message that we carry. And talk to people. There was, I think, in 2 or 3 of the talks, the one from Ms. Marak and also Nishan spoke about adverse events. Adverse events are there for everything. You take a tablet of paracetamol or dispirin or aspirin, it can have its own adverse effect. When we discuss it publicly, then it becomes a problem. But there is always a balance, benefit versus risk. If benefit is substantially more than the risk, we go with that treatment. That is how the life works. You are in business, you invest in a business, you know there is always a risk. But since you see more profits in that business, you invest in that business. Same thing is in healthcare. The entire healthcare works on statistics. It doesn't works on logic. It works on statistics, that if your benefit is more than the risk, we give that treatment. So when I operate somebody, I know always that there is a risk to the patient, but I know that if I can do a surgery safely, this person will benefit substantially. And that should be in the back of mind always. Talking more about these adverse events create a negativity in the society, and that we must curb at this time, because the more positivity we have, faster we will overcome COVID. So thank you so much for your inputs. I just loved everything that you said, and I will definitely use this in many of my presentation. And thank you, Mr. Goel, for inviting us here.
Thank you very much, Dr. Amen Goel, for giving your concluding remarks and the very motivational, inspirational, and on the facts, what you have mentioned today in such a easy way that not only the viewers here or those participants, but the viewers and everyone who is going to view afterwards also is going to be benefited. And that is the purpose of our media conference, to spread the positive words across the globe. And today's program, which has been live telecasted by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV, News Gaon se Samvad Sarokar News, as well as to shown live on Facebook and YouTube. And our endeavor is to enlighten you every day with a new topic. And tomorrow our topic is a very, very hot topic, and that is the media conference with Lal Goel at 10:30 a.m., the untold story of 26 January mayhem. And the participants are Dr. C.V. Anand Bose, IAS, one-man expert commission for labor, Government of India; Mr. M. Harisena Verma, IPS, former special director, Home Affairs Department, Government of India; Mr. Niloli P. Rajshekharan is a writer, music composer, and CEO of Guru Management Consultants, Bangalore. So please tune in tomorrow for media conference Lal Goel at 10:30 a.m. To watch this particular episode. And thank you very much, Dr. Amen Goel, and all my youth guests who have participated in today's program, and all the viewers who have listened to today's very, very enlightened program. I'm sure that you have got the clear picture about the vaccination, and everyone will spread the positive news, whether youth or even the senior citizens like me. Thank you very much. Thanks you all.